Hello everyone, and welcome to Light Farm's first Spark Creator Days workshop. I'm Nelson Schmidt. I'm the art director here at Light Farm. And this month, me and my awesome team gather around to create this 1 hour worth of content. Telling a little bit of our expertise and what we do and how we do, and sharing this knowledge with you guys. So thank you, Facebook, for supporting that initiative, and yeah, so glad this is happening. So no further ado, let's get into it. I have this prepared PDF here. You guys are gonna have access to all of it, and let's start. It's gonna be divided into sections. I'm gonna talk about a little bit about Light Farm and what we do. We have a 1-minute tutorial video for you guys, and then we're gonna wrap it up and have some questions, discuss some stuff, okay? And well, as an introduction, guys, I wanna talk about a little bit about who we are, what we do, and the workshop overall with you. And well, who we are, what we do. This is us. We are at Light Farm. We are very specialized in computer graphics, 3D, photograph, and mainly everything that is related to big marketing campaigns, focus on craft, right? And my area expertise, AR and VR with my team. This is some of the works that we've done in the past. So we've done games, we've done plane tracker stuff, we've done head tracker stuff, we've done everything regarding Spark AR that Spark AR can do. You guys can see a little bit more of our work here in our website in the AR VR tab. So lately we've been working with Ubisoft, Riot Games, LSAV, L'Oreal, Disney, and many others to create these, well-crafted filters, mainly with 3D stuff. So this is what we are doing right now. Also, I'd like to talk about our pipeline and why. Just because this is the process that we follow on a daily basis here, receiving the brief, having the pre-production, modeling, look development, rigging and animation, compositing, and then publishing. Of course, there are some steps of the process that are very important. For example, the briefing in the pre-production, where we talk to our clients, where we discuss ideas, where we create concepts. We always create concepts for the filters and the effects before we start the actual production, the actual modeling, the look development, right? So the modeling, the look development part, they are really important because at the same time that we have craft, we need to have, low sizes so everyone can use it. You guys know that already probably. And compositing is also another very, very important part of our work. That's where we finalize it. We make it, to look better, where we add LUTs and we add, color to it, and we add the whole composition and the effects that we usually need. Of course, all of it goes with a lot of testing, right? It's not always how we want it, and by the end we have the publishing part, talking to the client and understanding the best ways to actually make their campaign, a success. Okay, so better than talking, guys, I want to show you 2 different videos of our productions, the way we work following this pipeline that I just presented to you. They're both from Ubisoft games. One is a interactive game, AR game, and another one is a cosplay. Let's see it very quick, and I hope you like it. All right. So yeah, that's a little bit of what we do and how we work here. So what is great is everyone that worked on these two projects, they're here today telling a little bit of their expertise, right? Because, you know, being a creator and being a, you guys know, as being a creator, AR creator, we need to have a lot of professional skills, right? Being an AR creator is a different profession. It's a different kind of profession. We need to know programming, a little bit of modeling, a little bit of Photoshop, a little bit of illustration, understand visual programming, and there's a lot of features there. What we're trying to do here at Light Farm, we try to focus on the best qualities of the artist, right? So if you're better, if you're best on look dev, we're gonna try to focus on that. If you're better on programming, we're gonna try to focus on that. And my team is divided like that here today. So they're gonna present for you guys everything they're most like capable of. And what I want to talk about a little bit now is the workshop itself. Okay, guys, Vivi is gonna talk about it a little bit more later on, but I want to show you two different things. There's this link here. You guys already have it with all the assets that you need. And you also have this PDF presentation, the one I'm showing you guys right now, where you have the download project button here that you guys can click it. You guys are gonna download the exact project that the team is showing on that particular step. Okay, so you guys don't follow any of the information. Somehow, you guys can always come to the initial project and the finished version. So you guys can, keep up and do it yourself. So I guess that's it for me now. I'm gonna pass this to Vivi and let's start. Hope you like it, enjoy, and let's see what you guys come up with. See you soon.
Hi everyone, I'm Vivi. I'm an AR artist and coordinator here at Light Farm Studios. Before we get started, I wanted to show you guys the final look of our effect, the beanie effect. So for this workshop, we wanted to share with you guys a technique that we developed and that we use in many of our projects, which is mixing some CGI knowledge with Spark AR capabilities and patches to better integrate 3D assets to the user's head, face, and even chest. The coolest part is that at the end of this workshop, you'll have the tools you need to build not only this look that you're seeing right now, but to customize it to your own taste and do your unique effect. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do to start setting up our scene is to download the assets. They can be found here at the event page. If you scroll down here at resources, you find project assets pack. This link here will take you to this folder where you can download everything you need. I already did that. So let me show you the scene we're starting with. Under Spark AR projects, we have all the steps for this workshop, and we are at the first step, Beanie starting project. You just need to double click on this file here, and it will automatically open Spark AR and our scene. Okay, so now let's take a look at this starting scene, which works like a template. You know those Spark templates when you open the software? We started this one actually from the neck decoration that can be found here. File, new from template, neck decoration. And what we borrowed from it is the occluders setup that will be very helpful to our segmentation and render passes setup. Okay? So we already have the beanie that was imported to the scene and those occluders that come from the neck decoration template. In the scene we have also 3 different groups that will make a lot more sense when we get to the scene render passes part. So don't worry about it right now. Just bear in mind that they're helpful and we need them for the future things we're gonna do in our effect. Inside 3D assets, we have the beanie, and every 3D asset you want to add to this template, you can drag in under this group right here. We have a group for face masks and makeup that can be dragged over here. And we have the occluders. To understand how the occluders work, the best thing is to hide them and see how this looks without them. So see, without the occluders, I can kind of see through the 3D mesh and I can see it. It's like I have a video and a 3D asset, and I don't have a volume to fill this beanie and pretend that I have an actual 3D head inside of it. So that's what the occluders does. Here inside the occluders, I'm gonna unhide this again. We have a face mesh, a head occluder, and a bust occluder. Both bust occluder and head occluder, they come with the neck decoration template. And I'm gonna show you guys some extras that we added for a better result and masks in our scene. And also this will make more sense when we're talking about scene render passes, okay? And those are a sphere that we added, and also this plane right here. I'm gonna take the materials, I'm gonna remove them from the occluders so you guys can see them, and it makes a lot more sense when we do this, just to really understand what's going on here. So I'm gonna grab the bust occluder and go ahead and remove the material under this tab. I'm gonna also grab the head occluder and also here in materials, remove from object, and the face mesh, and also remove from object. I'm gonna hide this sphere and this gradient mask right here. So you can see every time we have a checkboard in our meshes, they mean that we don't have a material applied to the mesh. So that's why we see checkboard face and checkboard chest right here. And these are the occluders that hide everything we need to hide in order to have this illusion that this beanie is actually over our heads, okay? I'm gonna add these materials back. Here's the visibility of the other masks, and if I select here the mesh for the bust occluder, I'm gonna add the material here. Don't worry about this tab because you're gonna see it in details how to add materials, and also add material to the head occluder, and last but not least the face mesh. Here in materials, occluder. And I'm back. So that's pretty much it. Here you can see all the assets that are already downloaded to the scene. We will add a few more here during the process. And with this scene, you guys are ready to get started. And now Vinny will show you and take you through the next step. Okay? Hope you guys have fun.
Thanks, Vivi, and hello everyone. My name is Vinny, but everyone here at Lightfarm calls me Bimbo, so you can call me Dad if you want. And I am a look development AR artist here at Lightfarm Studios. And today, I'm going to teach you the whole process of creating a shader, a Beanie L shader inside Spark AR. Well, we're going to go through a couple of steps in here. The first thing we're going to do is to lit our scene a little bit better. We're going to import our textures create our shaders, and then we'll customize it a little bit, play around with colors, change the tag, so we can make it a little bit of our own. Alright, so this scene we're looking at right now is the basic look development project that we've made for you, where you can find just our mesh import into it with the shaders created and a few lights. So you can download it. You'll find this project alongside with those textures and everything else inside your resources folder. So you can get it, open the project, and try to dissect it a little bit, see how I've done things, how I've built the shaders, and play around with it if you want. So to start our process of creating a shader, we're going to another scene, a simpler scene with just our mesh and one directional light imported into it that is just in full. And as I said before, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is to lead our scene. So I don't want that directional light. I want another one. Let's create a point light and play with it a little bit. I want to create somewhat of a light and shadow situation. So let's do that. Let's bring that dude over here, maybe a little bit closer. I think that's good for now. Okay, we're going to finish it up a little bit later, but for now it's working. Let's add another light to kill those pitch black shadows. Let's add a ambient light. And 20, I think it's maybe too much. We can go around 15, 40, 15. I like round numbers. Okay, we're almost there with the lights. We're going to finish it up as we build our shaders. To organize it a little bit, let's grab those guys and put them inside here. All right. Now, let's talk about textures. Let's import our textures and talk a little bit about them. As I said before, inside your resources folder, you will find those guys over here. And what are they? They are all those textures we're going to use to complete our shaders. Basically, we have our BD shaders and the tag shaders, both with a logo and a clean one. For later on, we can customize it. You can add your own textures into it. You can change it completely. You can do whatever you want with this. Well, let's take a look to our first texture in here. This is a baked texture that I've exported from Blender. The first thing I've done is I built all my textures inside Substance Painter. Then I exported those textures, brought them into Blender, created a nice shader, a nice light, and I baked them, all those informations into one texture. And basically, that's what a baked texture is a full shader in a form of a texture, of an image. So if we zoom in, we can see tons of different information in here. We can see light, we can see shadows, we can see real materials information. It's not just a plain color texture. This is a full L material in a form of an image. And working with this inside Spark, it's a really great way to achieve a good looking image, a good looking result, because pretty much all our shader is already done in here inside Spark. We're just going to tweak some things, bring it a little bit more to life, and that's it. A second thing we're going to use is our normal texture. An ordinary normal texture, nothing crazy about it. That's it. Basically that's it. Just a normal texture. And look for last but not least, my yellow dude over here, which is our ORM texture. And ORM stands for ambient occlusion, roughness, and metallic. So inside this little yellow square, we'll find 3 different maps packed into a single one. So inside Spark, we'll play around those 3 parameters, but only using one texture. And that's crucial. That's really important to have an optimized project because we'll achieve the same goal, but using only one texture instead of 3. And that's great. So I think it's time. I think it's time for us to start building our shader. Let's grab our textures, drag them to Spark, and let's talk a little bit more about textures. When we import a texture inside Spark, a couple things are going to happen. Actually, 2 things are going to happen. If you bring a high resolution image into Spark, for example, a 2K image, a 4K image, or 8K, I don't know, a higher resolution, anything higher than 1K will be compressed into a 1K image. For example, I baked those textures into a 2K image, a 2K resolution image, and as I brought them in here, it automatically was compressed into a non-K image. And that's really good for us because Spark AR is looking out for us and compressing our textures in order to have a optimized project, to have less weight, less useful weight into our project. And the second thing that I want to talk about in here is this little guy over here, the color encoding tab, which when you bring a texture, automatically it will be turned into a linear image. In some cases, that's good, that's what we want. But going to our shaders, let's open our BD mat in here. We'll see that it's a standard shader type. And again, it's a default. When you bring a mesh and you create a new material, by default, it will be applied a standard material. And that can work on some projects, but I like to work with something different. I like to work with a physically based material. And as we can see, a physically based material has way more influences of light and shadow, way more details on it. It responds way better than a standard material. And when we go down here on the advanced render options, we'll find that the physically based material works on a sRGB color system. So in order to the shader and the texture work properly together, they gotta speak the same language. So that's why we gotta go back into our texture, change it to sRGB, and they will work properly together. But let's go back a little bit. Let me show you what actually that means. Let's bring our texture, and you'll see that it's not that bad, but there's not much color range into it. There's not much whites, there's not much blacks. It's a grayish, flattened image, and that's not what we want. When we go back into our texture and set into sRGB, bump. Now we can see way more colors. We can see more whites, we can see more blacks. Everything is it's better transcribed into Spark. We have way more color range to play around with, and that's what we're looking at. That's what we want. So let's keep building our shader. I have my BD shader in here. We've already applied our texture, our diffuse texture. So let's keep doing it. Let's bring our M texture, bump it up our occlusion, our roughness. If you want a plastic look to it with the shiny reflexes, go for it. You can play around with it, do whatever you like. But by now, I want a kind of a realistic vibe to it, so I'll keep it with a high roughness. Let's set it to 80, 90, sorry. Okay, let's keep going. Let's check our normal tab and bring our normal texture. And now we're starting to walk more further into it. Now we have more volume into our beanie. We can see some shadows in between the creases, and more information. We have some textures into it. And to keep it going, let's talk about, and to keep going with our shader and to finish it up with our lighting process. let's apply a environment texture. And what an environment texture is basically it is the same thing as an HDRI. And what that is a 360 image that are seen in a 360 view. So we have lights coming from all sides with richer details, with a high light information. We have a good light information with it, therefore a really good image. So let's do this. There's nothing in my text list. Why? Because there's no environment texture in my project. In order to do that, let's go down here into the left corner in the Add Asset menu. Down here we'll find the texture, environment texture. And something happened. A AR library pop-up showed for us. And what is the AR library? If you don't know what that is, the AR library is a huge library of 3D objects, music, sound effects, scripts, colorlets. You can find here tons of things with just a single click of a button. You've imported all those things into your scene and start working. So our lives gets easier. We can work faster and achieving good looks, achieving good effect with this. So let's go into the texture tab. Let's click on the studio because I want a studio environment. Done. Okay. Bring that up. And now we can see that some things are way more clear. Let's turn off the lights we added before, just so we can see a little bit more clearly what's going on. And right now we can rotate it and we can really see those normal maps working, all those shadows walking through our beanie, and that is good. That's what we're looking for. Soft lights, hard lights, that's what an HDR is capable of, and that's why we use it. So let's keep our light design, a shadow and light information here. I think 300, right? Shadows, lights, good. Okay, bring back our lights. Good to go. And to finish it up our beanie shader, there's a trick that I like to use, and it's the Emission tab. I like to use the Emission tab applied with our beanie texture, the same beanie texture that we used on the collar. I like to bring it up again, this time in the Emission tab, but with just a little bit of influences. If we go all the way into the white, it will basically turn into a flat image, a flat shader. We don't want that. We still want some light information from our lights. So we'll bring it into a little bit less than 50%. This will be no animation. This will be full emission, half of it. Let's go a little bit less than that, in between the 50%. And I think that's great. Well, so our base shader is pretty much done. We're going to come back on it a little bit later to customize it, but let's jump into our tag. And for a tag, it's basically the same process. Let's change to physically based. We have our texture in here, our baked texture with some stitches, a left arm logo on it, bumping out. This is the difference between a diffuse color and a baked color. We already can see some volumes into it, and that's why a baked texture is so good. So let's bring those guys over here. This is a with a Lightform logo and a clean version, so we can customize it a little bit later. So let's bring those 4 guys over here. And the same process. Change to sRGB. Bam. Let's go into a matte tag and start building again. VORM. the emission, with just a little bit of influence, and our environment. So now we can find a good reflex point. Good reflexes. Let's find something nice to light our scene with. I think that's okay. That's good. Let's find the roughness. Maybe I want it on 80 to shine this logo and have a good roughness, a little dry roughness on the sides that are rubberish. Bump or occlusion, and I have no metallic information, so that's won't do nothing. And basically that's it. Our base shaders are there. We're good to go. We're good to start our customization process. You can look at me and say, Vinny, what if I don't want a gray texture? I don't want a gray Vinny. I want a red one. I want a green one, a pink one. What do I do? I got you covered. Let's go back into our beanie shader. And right here on the right, you'll find that most of those parameters, you'll find a small arrow pointing to the right. And what that is, basically you'll grab those informations, you'll grab those outputs and bring it down to the patch editor so we can play with it as we want. So let's change those colors. We have the output in here. Let's bring our texture. The same texture we used in the diffuse color in the emission, the same texture goes back again in here. And we're going to double click, search for a multiply node, and we're going to connect the first arrow over here into the first value, the output into the white box. Okay, nothing happened. Why nothing happened? Because by default, the multiply node comes into a number values. It comes working with numbers. We're not working with numbers right now. We're working with colors. So we gotta click on it. A blue outline will show up with a little box. Click on it, change the color, and nothing happened again. And that's because we're multiplying a white color into a texture. And when we multiply a white color into another, the white color is gone. Nothing's going to happen. So in order to work something to happen, in order to something to work, we gotta change the white color. You said you want a pink. That's it. You want a gray one. You can go for it as well. But I want a purple one because I like purple, and that's it. There's no conversation. So, and what if you're still not happy with the final look? You still want to tweak this texture a little bit. I don't know, maybe bump saturation, bring some contrast into it. What do I do? Well, by using the same method that we did to bring it up our studio environment texture, we can do the same thing to look for an adjustment color shader that I already got here. And it's simple. Just connect right after the multiply, bump, bump, that's it. A good reminder is that all those parameters works from a -1 into a 1 value. So if I add 10 in here, it will be the same thing as a 1. And so 1 is fully saturated. If I want to desaturate it completely, -1. So you can play around with those numbers, find what suits you better. So let's do this. I think 5 in here, it's great. And I'll do the same thing to the contrast. Maybe a little bit of brightness. And to finish it up, our customization process, as I said before, I made a clean tag for you to work with. So you can grab this texture, bring it up into Photoshop, and you can play with it however you want. You can draw a smiley face with a tongue, save it, bring it to Spark, and you'll have a smile face Benny as an effect. You can change it completely. You can put your photos, your textures, do whatever you want. Play around with. If you don't want a out texture, I don't know, put a brick texture, a golden texture. Play around with it. Be my guest. And I think that's it for me, guys. I hope you learned something with it. I hope you enjoyed. And right now, I'm going to call my big friend Max, another brilliant effect creator, and he will go with you through the magical journey of coding, rigging, and how to bring this little dude here into life. Okay? Thank you. See ya.
Hi, my name is Max Wendel, but you can call me Max. I am a technical artist at Light Farm Studios in Brazil. At this stage of the band's project, we will use the patch editor to set the band's bonds in order to have dynamic movement. For those new in Spark AR, the patch editor is a visual form of programming. Therefore, the same principles used in programming can also be used in patch editor. Right? Here is the result we will get. As you can see from the top of the beanie, follow my head rotation with a slight delay that creates the overlapping effect, making the fabric more fluid and realistic. I go now hit the beanie 3D model for a moment. I am using band 2 rail beanie. I can see from then I rotate my hand, the top of my hand, top of my beanie, follow 2. That's the effect we want. Okay, now let's go set up our physics in patch editor. Okay, this is the previous version of the band's project. This is static here. We have the rigged band's model with material and shader configured, and the textures baked by our very dignified Bimbo. In the first, we will look in the patch editor for the face tracker patch. I am zooming right here. From 3D rotation output, I will pull another patch called Sender. I will rename it to Read Rotation, and I will create a receive. It's not this patch is used to send a value to another place in the patch editor. I will put you here, and I will create another patch called comments. I will drag you here and expand it. I will rename to physics simulation, and this is our workspace. Now I will take the drag is a patch asset that I created previously for this workshop. I will go to the patch editor. These patch assets will be available to gather another workshop files. Okay, now I will connect the read rotation output to input in the drag. Okay, now I go connect the read rotation output in the drag input to manipulation, which is values, the read rotation values. And after that, I will take the rotation paths from the beanie bonds and throw it in the patch editor. For that, just select the beanie in the sand, open it, have an armature, open it, have a skeleton, and open it, have the bonds. We use the Bini Boni 1, 2 and 3 for this. I will select the Bini Boni 1. In the area on the right, it says the bonds per pairs. I will click in the arrow next in the rotation. As you can see, have a value in the x vector. For that, don't lose this value. I will go and copy it to add path. I will add in the add here. Change your configuration to vector 3 because the input is vector 3 here, and copy this x value to the x value in first value of add patch. Now I will go connect the output add patch in the 3D rotation patch of Bini Bonds 1 and connect the output drag and second value the add patch. As you can see, the Bini Boni 1 is working now. It's just to copy the setup to another bonds. Select the Bini Boni 2, rotation, Bini Boni 3, rotation, and copy the patch add and paste here. Don't forget, change the x value. Copy here and paste here, copy here, same here. Connect the outputs with input 3D rotation, and for the last, copy, connect the drag output vector and second value. Now this is working for all bonds. Okay. Okay, but how the Dragy assets work? Let's see from inside it. Just going to click on this little chain next to the path, and we are inside it. Analyzing the paths that we have here, first we have input, which are the vector values that come from outside the path asset. After it, the value is split with the unpack path, because the read rotation is a vector 3 and it have 3 values forming the vector, and next work each one separately. After work, the values are joined with the pack path to format a vector 3 again and throw out of the patch asset. But what's doing with each value in the vector? Well, I will break out here the pack assets and follow only one path to understand better with work here. Is it the x-axis value from the read rotation? If I connect only this output in pack input in viewport here, I can see the bonds. Just copy the head rotation to Bini bonds. Follow the path. The second path is subtract, and the first value is the x rotation, and the second is the itself with delay. So I can connect here to see its effect from here. Can you see its copy the read rotation, but return to start position the bonds after the delay. Okay. The next is the exponential smooth. This patch is used to smooth the values, so it doesn't wobble so much. If I connect it here, the movement is so more smooth. For the next is multiply patch, is to have the double the intensity of the re-rotation effect. Its patch is used to serve as an intensity control. I connect here to see is the double the intensity of the radi affected the band's bond. But until here has a problem. We have a problem. The bond's rotation is going to the same side as the red, and like our hair that goes back when we are running forward, we need to have an inverse effect to the bonds too. That's we have the last patch here, the negate. This patch is used to reverse the band bonds direction of movement. I go connect here, and now it's perfect. The axis is correctly movement with my hand. The intensity is bigger, but it's okay. Well, it is practically the manipulation that takes place in each of the axis re-rotation to the bonds. Okay, and that the same thing that happens for the x-axis happens on the other axis too. I am just go to decrease the values a little bit, and it's finished. Okay. As I said, the multiplier serves to control the intensity of the rate. If you want a smoother movement, just decrease it, and for a major movement, just increase the value. And with that, we complete our physics simulation setup. It's not a complete realistic physics which collides with your other objects, but it makes our band with a much more fluid and beautiful effects. Remembering that all files used in this workshop will be made available, include the package of the projects at each stage. Now, our dear Bix will present how to segment better around the bending, so as not to show the hair coming out behind, and also how best the look of the scene in general. Bye.
Hi everyone, Baz here. I'm a data artist at Light Farm Studios, and I'll be showing you how to combine the render passes with person segmentation to make a custom 3D mask. We use person segmentation to separate our image from the background. In this project, I'll be using this image here that can be found in the Assets folder, but you can choose anything you want, so feel free to pick any image you like. And for most effects, only the segmentation is already enough, but we felt the need to clean the area around our head, so the effects always suit the user. In my case, I read in this headset that can be seen in the final render, right? After finishing the materials of your beanie, you can add other elements to better compose your scene. In this group here, add a new face mesh. Let me just rename it. And in it, we're gonna apply a texture that will simulate a shadow between the skin and the beanie. So create a new material, make it flat, and always rename the material. Bring this texture here, text occlusion, and change the blend mode to multiply, and let's decrease a little bit the opacity. Don't forget to uncheck the second box of the rendered options, and we can see the shadow in here. These little details make the effects look more real and helps to blend the final image with the 3D objects. But in this group, you can add any other face effects you want, like makeup or stickers. As an example, I'll be doing eyeliner makeup because I like eyeliner. So create a new material, and this time it will be a face paint material. So bring this texture here, text eyeliner, and we can keep the opacity and the brightness at 100. The background influence can be around 50. Okay, right now we're gonna start to set it up the scene for the render path step. And first thing, you have to click on camera and select texture extraction and segmentation of person. It will be shown here in Assets panel. Then we have to change the material of our occluder, and usually the occluder is at 0 opacity, but with this technique it will be a little bit different. We have to change the material to a flat one and increase the opacity to 100%. Then duplicate it and change its color to black. It's strange right now, I know, but when I start to previewing the render patches in Patch Editor, it will become more clear why we're doing this. So for now, select the bin mesh inside the 3D Assets group and duplicate it. The copy won't keep the information of the bones in the patch editor, so we have to select them and bring the rotation to the patch editor so we can link it to the physics movement. This step is super important because we need both meshes. We need that both meshes are exactly in the same place, doing the same movement. So now rename the copy as bin occluder and take it to the occluders grouping here. Now select the mesh and apply the material occluder black in both of the slots. You can see it in here. Okay, almost there. Right now, you can select device and click on create default pipeline of render paths. Okay. These paths are telling me that everything that is inside the device, all of this, plus my camera texture in the background are being rendered in the final image. Is what you can see in the preview panel. So we don't want our real background in here, so we can disconnect the camera texture from the background. And for the device path, we we won't be using in the project, so can delete it. So okay, not be serious, but stay calm. Think about the render path as a layer, and we want this layer as a transparent one. So change the alpha channel to 0. After this, we can copy this guy 2 times. Then select the 3 groups inside the face tracker and bring them to the patch editor and link each one of them to a render path, to a scene render path. For the face meshes group, we add the camera texture in the background so we can have our face in here, right? And now we can finally add the image we choose for the background. Import it, and in this panel we can select it. Okay. Now we can bring the segmentation texture to the patch editor and we only use the silhouette information of segmentation, so we can link the last input to a multiply patch, and we're gonna add it to the occluders scene render path. The result of these 2 things together will be our final mask. So just one more thing. Create a mix path, and we're gonna join this render path with this one. Okay. And okay, why are we doing this? Why are we building all of this stuff? With these patches and this organization, we're gonna say that the result of these two things together will be fit inside this silhouette here, and everything that is out of the silhouette will be cut off. And in here we also have a color hierarchy, so everything that is inside the black area will be on top of the things inside the white area. So okay, right now we can take the result of the multiply and link it to the alpha of the mix path, and finally we can link it the result of all of this to the screen output. And there we have it. We are using our 3D objects to cut up all the things we don't want in this image here. Okay. For the next step, I'll show you how to add a color LUT. It's a color filter that will put everything together. So click here in Dragy Assets, search AR library, and in this tab, color LUT, we already have a lot of options color filters. So pick the one you like the most. I choose the black white one because I'm an emo girl. Import and click and done. Now we have this folder here for the color LUT and just bring it to the patch editor. Take the output of the mix patch into the texture input and the result of this be in the screen output. That's it. Your effect is done. Feel free to change the assets whenever you want. You can try a lot of different compositions. And in the next step, Vivi will show you how to publish your effect and show it to everyone. So bye bye.
We have our final effect here with a lot of cool stuff happening, and we are ready to publish. Before publishing our effect, we need to check some things just to make sure that we have the right size of textures and meshes so we can publish it, okay? So one tip here is to go to View and Show Asset Summary. Here we'll see if we are under 4 megabytes and also if all platforms are okay with the actual size of our effect. And if it's all green, we're good to go. Then we go over here and hit Publish. It will open this dialog box here. And what's cool here is that you can record your demo video. So it first asks you if you want to publish your new effect or update an existing one. So this one is the first time we're doing it, so we are publishing a new effect. And we can record the demo video here that will be used to publish our effect. So let's do it right now. Make sure that you are in a good position and start recording. A cool tip here is to showcase the capabilities and whatever your effect does. That is the coolest thing. So here we can move our head to show the physics and show the texture and stuff. It should show here in your videos, so people will want to use it and test it. Then we hit save. Here it shows you if your file sizes meet the requirement and also if the capabilities meet the requirements. We are okay. Now we just hit upload. Okay, so now we're almost done and we need to set some things up in order to publish our effect. First of all, we have to give it a name, and the name is really important, so it's the first thing to be searched for when someone's looking for your filter. So here we can go and add a cool name like, I don't know, Amazing Beanie. And then I'm sure you guys can come up with a more creative name than what I did here, but you got the idea, right? Here is the file that we exported. You can export a new file if you need to make any changes in your previous file and then replace it here. And here you choose if you're publishing for all platforms, meaning Facebook and Instagram or Instagram only. Here is an option for people to use your effect in media they have already taken, videos or photos. You choose if you want to allow that or not. Here you can choose if your effect is public or if it's link only, which means that only the person with the link can test, but it won't be public on Instagram or Facebook. And here is important, like if you are like us working on effects for other clients and you want to publish them in their account, they need to give you permission to publish there. So as soon as they give the permission, and Spark AR has all the documentation explaining how they do that, you choose here the account. So this is my personal account, and this one is the Light Farm account. So I'm publishing in the Light Farm account, and I'm in this permission group that allows me only to publish. I cannot edit or do anything in their account, only publish and manage the effect, okay? The categories are also very important, so because they also help your effect to be found, as well as the keywords. So take some time thinking about the keywords and the categories you'll add your effect to. Then we have the image that will be the thumbnail, the video thumbnail. They let you choose from like your best shot from your video here. Let me see. Oh no, I have my eyes closed. Here, let me try this one. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. You can have your thumbnail from your video, or you can upload an image. We already have an image that you guys can use in our assets package, or Spark also provides a PSD file where you can change the graphics and make your own unique icon. I'm gonna choose the file from our folder here. Here it is. Make sure you don't have transparency or else it's not gonna work. There we go, here is our icon. You can also check how it will look on Instagram right here. So you can see how it will look on Instagram and the profile. And then you can see the preview video here, how it looks. And also the camera view, so you can see the icon and how it's gonna look. Okay, this is really nice. If there's other creators collaborating with your effect, you can add them here. This is new and it's very cool to add and give credit to other artists. So here I could go and add, for instance, Bia. Let's see if we can add another one. Nelson and Max and here it is. So we're all collaborators here. And if you want to publish as soon as possible, or if your client or you have a specific date and time that you want to publish your effect, here is where you set this option. And make sure to read Spark terms and Spark AR policies to make sure that your filter will go online without problems and you'll get the most of it. And that's it. After this, you just hit submit and wait for it to be approved and to be online. I'm very happy with this workshop and I hope you guys had fun and can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Bye.
Oh boy, that was a lot of information, right? I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit, and I hope you guys could follow all the steps as well. And if you didn't, you can always count on the PDF we sent you guys with everything. All the steps are here. You guys could follow. But we also add another thing that is the extra content. Okay, this is our stuff that happening outside SparkAR, such as rigging in Blender, or such as look dev in Substance Painter in Blender. So things are set up to SparkAR later on. So all this part here, just all the creation part is here, so you guys can follow along as well. And really important that you guys publish it. Okay guys, do it yourself, customize it, make it your own. Use these techniques to change the hat if you want, change the color, the texture, change the background, the LUT itself, customize it and publish it. It's very important that you guys publish it and ask questions. Okay, right here, right now, let's talk about it. Let us help you guys. The team is here so we can help you. And very important too, for the ones that participated, they're gonna publish it, that work with us. We have 2 positions open here at Light Farm. This is a way that we, have a second step to the workshop. So we actually have real positions, the real work to do, and we have 2 of them. One for an interposition, and the other one is for a more advanced position, both as freelance. And we're gonna give you guys the form in the chat as well, so you guys can apply. And I really excited to see what you guys are gonna come up with. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for participating. We really appreciate your time. See you soon. Bye bye.